is going at 7:08. I wanted to get Peggy Denny on the show. Good morning, Peggy of I Recycle. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, I brought you on because we had Mayor Alec, and I know for the G3 recycling program, they're now accepting recyclables at all of the village mayor's offices. So I kind of wanted to get people's attention on that because I know that people have been texting and commenting about difficulty in turning in recyclables. And I don't know if that was just a pandemic thing or what, but I'm glad we're kind of inching towards normalcy on that respect. So I know you have more info on that, right, Peggy?
Right, right. So I've met with a dozen of the mayor's offices thus far, and I have more scheduled for this week and next week, and then hopefully I will have met with all 19 mayors and their staffs, um, so that everyone is comfortable with this program. These big green beautiful units each contain three 55-gallon drums, and they are clearly labeled for aluminum cans, metal cans, and glass. We're not including plastics because we can't do anything with plastics right now. The market is just bottomed out. So the aluminum cans that are deposited there will go to the village schools. So the schools within that village for the iRecycle program. And by the way, we have a check coming to the schools very soon for our 21st container. And I'm really excited about that. So the schools will have made about 200, excuse me, $265,000 thus far in the program, which is much better than nothing, but I know we can do better. So if we can get more participants and community residents bringing their cans to the mayor's office, if it's easier for them than going to the schools, then that's excellent because
Right.
their schools will benefit.
Peggy, so
And then,
I'm sorry, you're saying just a little catch up. 21 containers have been collected by iRecycle Guam over the years.
21 shipping containers.
Okay, and that is
Okay, so
equal.
mostly, yeah, mostly 40-foot, some 20-foot containers, but we shipped off our 21st container the end of December.
Right, and so these containers, you ship them off, you sell them, and then the money goes to the schools, right? And then can we get that
Exactly.
amount? And then what do the schools end up using the money for?
Okay, so I'm waiting on the check from the last container, but I know that it's at least $17,000, and so that brings us to about $265,000 that the schools have earned, and the schools do a number of things with the money, and the iRecycle program doesn't dictate how that money should be used. Some schools they use it for playground equipment.
Mm.
Other schools use it for supplies. Other schools use it for some of it goes entirely to their green team, to their environmental club. You know, Maritzo Elementary just does an amazing job, and they have good community support. And one of their teachers, Jody Nelson, she's just wonderful. And she and her kids, they get out there and they sort through all the bags of cans that have been dropped off, and on Thursdays, and then they work on filling their bins. So they've filled it, um, I think, 4 times in
Wow.
the last um, 5 weeks or so.
Peggy,
So they,
how long has iRecycle the program been around on Guam?
oh, it was created in 2007 by Frank Shimizu of Ambrose. It was his idea, and he contacted all the other partners, and they each perform a role in the program. They each pay a portion of my salary, and we're working on expanding from 48 to 60 schools.
Nice.
So
Peggy, I just want to congratulate you because that's over a $250,000 that you've been able to raise just from not just recycling, but you've done the really hard work of the messaging of kind of normalizing because we're hard headed. And I remember it was a very sharp learning curve to kind of get with this recycling thing. And I'm sure there's many areas we could still improve upon it, but I just want to commend you for the tireless work you've done really over the last, I mean, 2007, what is that? 10, 15 years, right? So thank you very much, Peggy.
Well, you're very welcome. I definitely have found my passion,
Yeah.
and and I just love what I do. But getting back to these D3 units, um, the so the next bin is for metal cans, and it's really important that people understand if you're holding a metal can and you can't crush it with your hand, then you know that it's not aluminum. Okay, but so it's a type of what they call bimetal, but it can be recycled as scrap metal. And so that's really important because there's no need and no reason for those items to go into the landfill.
Right, and you're
Okay.
talking about just from some examples like the iced coffee cans, corned beef cans,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yes. Sardines, all the food cans, cans, dog food cans. Um, and the Mr. Brown is incredibly popular, but people invariably put it in the I recycle bin, and all that has to be sorted out. You know, they can be recycled, but they're not aluminum cans.
Right. Yeah.
And another little challenge is that the iRecycle program, we sell the cans to a company on the West Coast that makes only aluminum beverage cans. So we can't accept Vienna sausage cans and Spam and foil trays and foil and some brands of cat food. They are aluminum and they could be bagged and set by the bin, but they can't go in the aluminum can bin, or else, well, we have to do a lot of sorting. But those items can be recycled as aluminum, but they have different melting points. So they can't go with the cans for iRecycle. So that's just something that we have to work with.
Peggy,
Um,
I was talking with Mayor Alec, and he was saying that. So we're talking about these bins that are now at the mayor's offices, but from what he was discussing, we're just talking. They're not big bins, right? These are just are they pretty much 55-gallon drums?
yeah, yeah. So I will be going to each village on a regular
I
basis
see.
to check the bins, to haul the materials away. I'll take the cans to the village schools, the metal cans. I will take the aluminum cans. The metal cans I will take probably to Pyramid Recycling. And the glass, um, so we have a little bit of a challenge right now because Mr. Rubbishman has invested about $350,000 into a glass pulverizer,
Right.
and it's all set up, and they've been working with it for quite a while. they just have they're just having a challenging time with the screens to separate out the fines, the very small particles, from the larger particles. Those larger particles can be used as a component of base course in road construction.
Right.
And so that's what's going to happen with that. So all the glass that I collect will go to them. We just need to get that little glitch resolved. And then I've also been talking to the mayors about, if there are residents in the community that have stockpiles of bags of aluminum cans or need help with, they have a lot of metal cans or whatever, I'm happy to help with that. And I can go to their homes and pick them up because I have been doing that for quite a while.
I'm sure you have, Peggy. I'm sure you have. I wanted to go back to what you said in the beginning of the interview about plastics. About right now, would you say the market is bottomed out? Nowhere's accepting plastic. So what do we? I mean, and I know that's the hugest part of reducing our plastic footprint, so to speak. But what do we do with all the plastics?
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate, but right now, um, even the plastics that are put in the curbside recycling bin get sorted out and weighed, but they end up being disposed of in the landfill. That's why I really try to encourage people to try their utmost to generate less plastic.
Right.
Plastic is forever. It doesn't biodegrade. It photodegrades and
Right
it
up there
breaks.
with diamonds, guys.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a huge challenge, and so I'm on the GSWA board,
Right.
and we are also trying to um, possibly identify places or site where plastics could be stored and then used at some further time, some future time. So that's just kind of how things are right now. because nobody can pay enough to even cover even cover shipping.
Well, Peggy, so I guess to me that begs a question. I mean, we still need to be collecting this stuff and separating it, but if we're talking about having to just store it on the side somewhere, at what point do
I
we kind
know.
of reconfigure what we're doing here with these plastics?
Yeah, I mean it's a huge challenge,
Yeah.
and in some areas, well, I mean our new GM Irvin Slike has worked at sites where they actually processed the plastic that they were collecting and used it as kind of a liner in the or a cushion in the landfill.
Uh,
So, I mean, there are some possibilities. So we just have to see how the market goes. But I would just I would just encourage people to do their utmost to generate less to begin with.
right. Yeah, I mean, Peggy, and I want to, because I feel like we have really adjusted a lot. I mean, I've really tried to eliminate plastics and any, I mean, I have three reusable containers in here. I don't know if that's,
Good for
am I supposed
you.
to have one? But we've all got flasks. We've all, you know what I mean? You hardly see anybody going around with plastic bottles. So, I mean, the only plastic really that we're using, but we're reusing it is the 5 gallon water bottle, right? So you just refill
Yeah.
the flask from there. But I wanted to ask because you are really got a pun totally intended, Peggy, but you are really down in the dumps. So, what
Yeah.
are you seeing with the plastics? Have we reduced our plastic footprint, or is it still the same?
I don't think we've really significantly reduced it. I recycle at the food truck night on Thursday nights at Skinner Plaza.
Okay.
And so I separate out aluminum cans, metal cans, food waste, biodegradables, but the bulk of the trash that's generated is plastic. And it's predominantly, um, I mean, some styrofoam, but not a huge volume, I'm happy to say, because most of the food vendors are using biodegradable to go boxes and other containers. But it's cups and straws, and
Mm.
that's just a huge component of what's generated there.
Straws? I
So,
thought we were on the paper straws now.
oh, some,
Oh, some. I got you.
certainly not across the board.
When do you think we're going to start seeing an impact from this plastic bag ban that is in effect?
I think we're already seeing it.
I see.
I mean, there's very few plastic bags that are generated at the food that food truck night, and actually they are allowed to use them, but
Yeah, that's right.
there are a significant number of paper bags that are being generated, and that's all biodegradable and can be composted.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even my village store, they've got paper bags, and it's funny to see with the reusable bags. I mean, this has turned into like one of the big money making. I almost said
Yeah,
things, right? I mean, every store from of course, Payless down to the 7 days or whatever. Everyone's got
right.
their reusable bag, which I think it's kind of cool. But the problem is, I have about 100 reusable bags and I can never seem to remember to bring one when I go to the store. I know I'm not alone in this. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or
You're
what,
not
but
alone.
oh god,
You're not alone at all, and it's a challenge. You just have to remember to put them back in your vehicle. I think that's that's the biggest challenge, and then take them with you when you walk into the store.
oh no, they're in the vehicle. But the problem is, I'm parked like 2 miles away, and you're ringing up stuff, and you're just like, okay, you got me again. You got me again. I just send them off to my family in the States because they like anything that says Guam, and a lot of these reusable bags that say like Guam or have some kind of like island theme on them.
Right, right.
Well, Peggy, man, I want to get a letter grade from you before we let you go because, like I said, you're down in the dumps. You're seeing what we're doing with the recycling, and I know you've been fighting hard. I mean, not just you, across the board, from the climate change folks to just all of the environmental groups that we have on
Yeah,
Guam, right? So how are we
definitely.
doing, and how can we improve to make less work for you?
Well, I don't know that I could give us a letter grade. I think that we are improving, and I think the mindset has definitely changed over the years. I mean, significantly. I got to tell you, when I first started, and particularly when I was recycling at large events or the carnival, which I had been doing for like 13 years or something. In the beginning, I just got very strange looks from people, like I was some really odd bag lady.
Yeah.
And but now, I tell you, there isn't a day that goes by that someone doesn't thank me for what I do. And so I don't do it for the thanks, but it is nice to be to have your efforts appreciated and recognized. And so we are making progress.
Yeah, Peggy, I got to thank you, and I agree. I mean, it was all those years ago. Was that who's this crazy white lady digging through
No,
the trash? What the heck, right? And then now it's like you got people there helping you. You're right. The mindset has definitely changed, and I got to say you're a big part of that. So thank you, Peggy.
thank you. And I hope thanks for having me on, and I hope you have an awesome day.
Yeah, we'll holler back and get you back on in a little bit. If there's anything you need to get the word out about, you got my number. Shoot me a text.
I will. I will do that.
Thank you, Peggy.
Thank you very much.
Okay, right on. Yep.
Take
Oh,
care.
well, you too. Always great. Always a great interview. You know what I mean? You talk about people you can count on this island, people you can set your watch to, people that you just know where they're going to stand regardless. And I remember, I mean, political or whatever, there was issues with the revolving recycling fund, and senators had problems with it. They made some claims that it was being used politically, and Peggy was right there, raising the alarm too. And so I think it's great. Come rain, shine, pandemic or not, she's still grinding, guys. So yeah, please separate your recyclables. Go to your village mayor's office. I mean, you want Auntie Peggy to be working that hard. You're healthy. Sort through your stuff. If you don't have the recycle bins, maybe you go to the dump, right? And there she is. That's cute. Awesome lady. Maybe you go to the dump. Well, now you can go to your village mayor's office if you don't have the bins, and you could do all your recycling stuff there. Then I have fond memories of, and when Peggy talks about the mindset changing, I don't know if it's just because I grew up poor, but for us, like picking cans, me and my cousins, that we did that. Like, and you talk about the carnival, we would pick cans and we would sell the cans up to Island Equipment, or was it Island Equipment, or it was up there in Tamuning, kind of like where AK is, remember? We would go and pick like 10, 11, 12, 13 bags of cans, and this is me and my cousins, no shame, right? Going through the trash, picking cans, and we would sell them. And then, my grandma would let us keep the money. We'd have to give my uncle a little bit for the gas, but then we would go to like the carnival, or we would go, selling these cans would fund like our activities. Because like I said, we grew up poor, and, we wanted to go to the carnival, but if you asked grandpa or grandma for 10, 20 bucks, the answer was always no. So we had to like find a way, and that was our way. So I'm glad. I don't know how much of that is still ongoing, but from what Peggy says, to be able to raise $250,000